So once you decide to launch a burger joint, how do you go on about to develop the whole concept, the menu that you want to sell, the brand identity that you want to market? There's so many decisions that you have to make, especially when it's your first brand and you've never done it before. How do you do that?
First thing that I would suggest you do is actually go into the market and see what's in the market. Who are the people who are successful and why are they successful? Looking strictly from like a menu development point of view. And then you'll kind of start to see some trends. When it comes to brand development, you need to create a concept, an idea, like why are you creating this name, and why is it how it is? Burger 28, the reason why it's Burger 28 is because we started on 28th Street and I was 28 years old. It should be Burger 27 because I should have opened when I was 27, but that's for another conversation. So that was us really creating a name, and the logo is a street sign, if you look at it. Okay.
Interesting.
So that's where we started. So we're proud of where we started. That was the idea behind it. And then Burger 28 as a concept is what would a burger joint look like if it was created for the UAE market? Because I was born and raised in the UAE, so I wanted to create something which was culturally in sync. That's why, for example, we have these patterns which are taken from the Gatara. From a menu perspective, we wanted to create something which was fun, something which was young, and something that would build nostalgia for people. So when we were growing up in the UAE here, we used to eat chips Oman, we used to eat dakous, we used to eat all these different things like Cheetos. And I wanted to bring that into the brand so you kind of felt like a kid again. You felt that innocence and that happiness. And I felt that that would build an emotional connection with the customer and the brand. As a brand, you're looking to try and build that emotional relationship. Because as a human, it's difficult to love something which is inanimate. Yeah? So if you personify your brand in such a way, or you manage to connect your brand with things that evoke emotion, you can start to build that kind of emotional love between a consumer and a brand.
Once you've decided on the brand identity of your concept, how do you craft a menu? How do you test it out? Do you give it to your family and you're like, okay, taste test, 10 burgers, tell me what you think, and then you launch it? How do you go on about to even decide what the recipe of your burgers are going to be? Did you do it? Did you give it to a food professional? How do you do that?
So I worked and collaborated with a good friend of mine in order to create the menu. And that was the initial menu that we came up with.
He's a chef?
He's not a chef. He's a foodie.
Okay.
And he has a food production company. So we did that together. Right. And then from there was also a lot of, interaction on YouTube, like looking up different recipes. Like if you see any menu, you can type that into YouTube and get a recipe. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? It's not that difficult now. Information is everywhere. So I would suggest, firstly, you need to come up with the menu. Like, what does it look like? And what items do you want? We started with a really small menu, and now it's an enormous menu with so many items on it. And that's just because of constant iterations over 6 years and customers asking for something new and us, pleasing our really loyal customers.
Once you've got your initial menu crafted, how do you go on about to develop a menu? How do you decide what items to make more of? Well, how do you develop one burger into 5 different burgers, a fried dish into 5 other fried dishes, or kill it maybe because it's not selling?
Basically want to be looking at your sales. Okay, your customer is going to tell you what works and what doesn't work. Now the trick there is, obviously the first time a customer comes to your location, they're going to ask you what's the best seller. They always ask the staff, what is the best seller? So that's a decision you need to choose yourself. Okay, what is our best seller in order for the first time a customer interacts with you, for them to like your product, right? Now, in order to find out what your best seller is, what I suggest is you invite your friends and family and you give them an item, let's say 5 or 6 burgers, and you tell them to say which one they think is the best. If you take a sampling of 10 to 20 to 30 people, you'll start to see that there is some sort of coherent answer. They like number 1 more than they like number 2, or it's 1, 2, 3, depending. Like, I like barbecue, or I don't like barbecue. I like spicy. I don't like spicy. But that's a really important, step you have to take in order to be sure. If you show like 10 people your product and nobody talks about it after, and they support you as a friend or as a family member, but they're not actually genuinely excited, you need to start to look inwards and say, okay, maybe this product isn't actually going to be what I need to launch with, because it's just not going to sell.